Greetings, old school magic players, and welcome to the Four Horsemen.
Greetings, old school magic players. Welcome to another episode of the Four Horsemen. I'm the Chadster, and today we're going to be covering our tournament number 21 group matches. I'm joined here today with a couple of our Four Horsemen old school magic players. We have Tim Kincaid, and we have Travis Smith with us here for today's video. Travis and Tim, you guys with me?
Hey, how's it going, Chad? Hey, Travis.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Thanks for joining us, Travis and Tim. We've been playing some old school this afternoon, and we decided to knock out one of our Tournament 21 group match videos. For a little bit of background on Tournament number 21, this is what we call our original Four Horsemen Old School Magic Wild West of the Four Horsemen. When Four Horsemen first started 3 years ago, we had a very unique and different banned and restricted list than what we have today for the Four Horsemen. And for our early summer tournament, we decided to do a spice event where we actually returned to that original Four Horsemen banned and restricted list. We called it the Wild West because it is wild and it is pretty crazy. And I'm from Texas, and for anyone who ever used to watch some of the old westerns, there used to be a really cool, almost like James Bond western style TV show called the Wild West, and that's where the graphic is from here. But it also really does a great job of describing, you know, the early environment of the Four Horsemen. Four Horsemen Old School Magic is the only old school magic group that focuses exclusively on Arabian Nights, Antiquities, Legends, and the Dark. Check us out at fourhorsemenmagic.com. Tournament number 21 has been running May 16th, and we're going to be wrapping up on June 22nd. We are in our top 8 today, and this has been a really fun and interesting tournament. We've got some fantastic prizes, some really great, cool custom proxy cards made by our players, as well as the unique Ken Meyer Jr. custom artwork, the Guardian Beast Purple Moonlight playmat. Ken painted this exclusively for the Four Horsemen. You can only get it through us, and we give away one of these custom playmats to our first place prize winner, in addition to the custom proxies that we give out to our semifinalists. Let's take a look at the banned and restricted list. Travis and Tim, you guys are in the tournament. You've been battling it out through your group matches. Just share with us real quickly, what do you think about the original banned and restricted list? Tim, let's start with you.
Yeah, well, there's not much on this list. There's just 4 cards restricted, and then the anti-cards that are banned. But those 4 restricted cards, well, we know the City in a Bottle is very powerful at shutting down big Arabian creatures, City of Brass. Tap your legends with the Arena of the Ancients. It's like a winter orb for your big legendary creatures. And then, or even better than that, but the Cylex is pretty good. It destroys, like, you know, all Antiquities cards, Mistress Factories, Triskelions, what have you. And then the Loa, which we all know in old school can just decide games. If one player gets an active Loa too long, that card advantage can just win the game. So, restricted, it's fun to play with. When you get it, it's like winning the lottery, right?
Right. That's a good way to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of my take on those 4. And I've seen some Loa games already just kind of get carried away, and people win with the Loa the past couple weeks. I think I had Loa against Travis one game last week, and to my surprise, I did not win that game. Did I, Travis?
Not that time.
Yeah, and this banner restricted list. This was originally put together by a friend of mine, Nick Breyer, also one of the other old school Magic players here in the North Texas area. And if you're curious and want to check it out, there's a video that Baron Nick has done about the founding of Four Horsemen, and we've got tons of videos on our YouTube channel. Just check us out at fourhorsemenmagic.com. Click on the YouTube link, and you can hear about the history of the Four Horsemen and how this list came together. But it was a very minimalistic list with almost no real serious regulation of these cards. But the format was brand new, and nobody really knew where it was going to go and how it was going to evolve. And so, the interesting thing is part of Tournament 21, we've got a lot of new players. Like Travis, you're a fairly new player. Tim's been with us for a while now. But this gives you a chance to experience what it was like 3 years ago when Four Horsemen first started. Travis, tell us a little bit about your experience so far as one of the newer players, and what do you think about the original Wild Wild West Four Horsemen?
Yeah, this format is such a cool throwback, and it's definitely one of the most fun ways to play old school Magic. I'm really enjoying the Wild Wild West version, particularly because the Loa isn't outlawed and the City and Bottle isn't banished. So that Loa is just such a broken card, but it's so fun to play.
Yeah, it's really cool, and there's so many cards that don't see play in a lot of the other old school Magic formats like Swedish and Atlantic, X-Point, etc. And here in Four Horsemen, a lot of those cards get to shine. But in the early days, we really didn't know what was going to be problematic and what was going to be dominating in the meta. And so, Nick Breyer just took a wild kind of halfway intuitive guess. And like I said, it's very minimalistic on this banner restricted list, but it's a lot of fun to use these cards. And we didn't want to be too generous with these what we called set killers, the Golgothian, Cylex, Arena of the Ancients, and City in a Bottle. They all can destroy cards from that set. And since the card pool is kind of limited, it made sense to restrict these cards. So that's the Wild Wild West of the Four Horsemen. And if you'd like to play with Four Horsemen, you can join us at facebook.com/group/4horsemenmtg. Okay, guys, let's take a look at the decks for today's match. This is a group match that I recorded Alex Veal versus William Linth. Alex is on a really interesting Eureka build, and William is playing what he called another red and black deck. William's been playing red and black for a while, and he's been with us for the last few tournaments. Alex has as well. He's played a couple tournaments in the past as well, but he's one of our newer players also up in Canada, and has been really evolving his decks and his brews in Four Horsemen. Guys, let's get into these decks. For Alex Veal's Eureka deck, what do you think of this brew? Tim, let's start with you.
It's pretty spicy. He's got the Eureka suite, a play set of Eurekas, and some cool, expensive big creatures to throw out. Looks like Tetsuya Umezawa, Soaking the Swamp King, and what is that? Is that Gerard what was it?
Gerard of the Closed Fist, 6/5.
6/5, green-white. He's got those. He's got his Trikes, the Tetravus, and he's got the 4 Urnimgens down on the left. So he's got a pretty good suite of big creatures that he can throw out. And Eureka also allows, it's not just creatures, right? It's permanents. Is that correct?
Yeah, so Eureka allows you to put any permanent in your hand into play.
So he could theoretically put down like one of his legendary enchantments and blow up or sorry, his enchant world. Like I see a couple living plane hiding behind those Sylvan libraries and 2 concordant crossroads in the bottom left. So he could his opponent could have an abyss or a land's edge or whatever, what have you, and he can windmill down his concordant and blow that up and attack with all those guys in the same turn. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I've played a Living Plane Falling Star deck in the past, and the Concordant Crossroads is a really spicy way to add additional potential power. The tricky thing is Concordant Crossroads is a enchant world, and so is Living Plane. So what's interesting about Alex's brew here is he has a way to get rid of Living Plane if he needs to. He's got 1 Falling Star in the upper left there. He's not running a ton of the normal robots, but he is running 3 Triskelions and that 1 Tetravis. And like you pointed out, he's got the Urnum Djinns. And so it's interesting that he's running both Concordant Crossroads and the Living Plane, which those are enchant worlds that destroy each other. But keep in mind, in the Wild Wild West of the Four Horsemen, things like the Abyss are everywhere, right? A lot of robots decks with Triskelions, Tetravis, Clockwork Avians, etc. Are running just all artifact creatures, and you can, the Abyss was not restricted in the early days of Four Horsemen, so you got to think about that when you're looking at these brews. That Band of Restricted was completely different. Mana Drain is not restricted. Ivory Tower is not restricted. The Abyss is not restricted. Sylvan Library is not restricted. And so it's really interesting to me. I think he's banking on the fact that he's probably going to run into other enchant worlds, and that's why he's got Concordant Crossroads, plus he's got Living Plane for the finisher.
Yeah, the 1 Book of Wrath is interesting, and he's got 1 Mirror Universe. He's got some cool, these are cards that are kind of expensive to cast, but it's like if you can windmill them down with a Eureka, then all of a sudden they become very good at, Book of Wrath. It's 2 colorless mana for a greed effect. It's kind of expensive. It's 6 casting cost, but being able to play it free with Eureka makes that card really, really neat, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, the Eureka is such an interesting card. You have to have cards in your hands that would give you an advantage. And in the past, we've seen Eureka decks with things like Oubliettes and Ashes to Ashes and things like Imprison or, even things like Fisher or Pyrotechnics, where you can put your stuff into play, and then you also have answers to get rid of their things, particularly with things like Oubliette and Ashes to Ashes, because you can get a 2-for-1 removal on the Ashes to Ashes, and with Oubliette, it's an enchantment, so you can put it into play with Eureka, and you can get rid of something that your opponent put into play that could be a problem.
And another neat thing about this deck I'm seeing is I could see a situation where Alex could play Eureka, put down the Living Plane, and then drop a Triskelion or maybe even 2 in the same turn as he played the Living Plane, and that would be pretty fun.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun, because then you can just pop off all your Triskelion damage arms and wipe out your opponent's lands. The Living Plane also makes all of your lands treated as creatures. So if you don't wipe them out the turn you play Eureka and you get Living Plane in play, it slows your opponent down for the remainder of the game, because every land they put into play basically has summoning sickness and cannot be tapped that turn that it comes into play. So there's some really interesting advantages that Living Plane give you. But, if we really look at this deck has a lot going on. It's black, green, red, and blue, with double green casting costs and double blue casting costs. So one of the first things that comes to mind for me here is this deck is going to be very difficult to be able to pull off, all the different casting costs if you don't get Eureka. You basically have to have Eureka. And if you notice, his basic lands are what? 2 forests, 2 mountains, and 2 islands. Tim, what do you think the big problem with this is?
Well, my last opponent I think he had main deck Blood Moons in his deck, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. 2 words, Blood Moon.
That was right, Travis?
Yeah, I did have main deck Blood Moons. They didn't. They weren't as effective against you that first game, so I ended up sideboarding them out, which was perhaps a mistake. But yeah, I mean, with this deck, Eureka is just one of those cards that can completely swing the game out of nowhere. It's kind of like a magic slot machine. You pull the lever and you hope that your hand's better than theirs.
Yeah. There's always a bit of, gambling with Magic, which is why Magic is not chess, right? And this was actually one of the debates we had very early with our Four Horsemen rules committee. There is luck in Magic, and Magic is not chess. It's different. It's like something in between D&D, chess, and poker all combined together. And so there is a luck factor that's important and relevant, and that's why getting a library early can make or break a game, as well as strip mine. Strip mine's not restricted in the Wild Wild West of Four Horsemen. Although if you notice here, Alex is only playing 1 strip mine there on the right.
I did notice that, and I'm also looking at the mana base. It looks like he has 3 or maybe even 4 cities of brass. I'm counting quite a few green sources with those 2 forests, the 4 tropicals, the 4 taigas. So he has a lot of ways to get double green. And I was thinking, the threat of a Blood Moon coming down, say turn 3, if Alex is on the play and goes Felwar Stone, well, he could possibly just play turn 3 Eureka before the Blood Moon could hit. Or if he doesn't have the Eureka or just 3 mana on turn 3, he can also possibly just play that mana drain to mana drain the Blood Moon and then play the Eureka. So I think he's okay, actually.
That's interesting.
And then he's got the Flash Flood sideboard, 3 of them for a Blood Moon. So.
Yeah, that's interesting observations there, Tim. It's you're right. He does have some very well thought out answers to Blood Moon, the mana drains, the Flash Floods, and yeah, he's got 4/4/4. He's got 12. He's got 14 green sources. So as long as he doesn't get slapped with a turn 3 Blood Moon, he should be able to pull the Eureka off and, be able to navigate from there. The fact that he's got that 1 falling star in the upper left is really interesting to me. I would have probably tried to squeeze in an extra falling star instead of maybe the 2 Concordant Crossroads, since Concordant Crossroads kills Living Plane. But it's the brewer's choice, right? He obviously, Alex thought this through, and he's done quite well in the tournament with this deck. All right.
Yeah, it looks fun and eager to see it in action.
Yeah. Quick look at his sideboard. A couple detonates, a couple of flash counters, a couple drop of honey, some active volcanoes, the 3 flash floods we mentioned, a Tomard's Crypt, and look at this, one of our favorite spicy sideboard cards, Sword of the Ages, and a couple boomerangs. Guys, what do you think about that sideboard?
Travis, anything come to mind with that? What do you think about the Sword of the Ages?
I mean, that can be a spicy card, especially late game. And I like those drop of honeys too. Kind of catch the opponent off guard with those.
Yeah, I could see the sword, like if an opponent is playing a moat style deck, or if they're moat deck, that he brings in the sword and he drops down all these big guys and just throws them at him. And he's like, I don't care about your moat.
Right. Yeah. I think the Sword of the Ages is very spicy. I really like that card. It's a card that, was pretty accessible back in the day. It wasn't too pricey. But in a stalemate scenario, if he comes up against another big aggro creature deck or a robots deck or a big fatty deck with lots of Ernam Djinns, You know, the Sword of the Ages is like is a tiebreaker card because he can slap that down with Eureka, play it for free, and he can throw his creatures at his opponent to break that stalemate.
I could almost seen two swords in an environment where people could play 4 moats or abysses or whatever. Cool card to have.
Really cool card. And you could make the argument that Sword of the Ages should be in the main deck for this brew.
Sure.
All right, guys. Well, really cool brew by Alex Veal. 4 Horsemen, Wild Wild West, Tournament 21, Eureka. Okay, let's take a look at William Lent's deck, another red-black deck. William has been on red-black for a while, and William's a really cool guy, and he's been doing quite well in some of our tournaments, making it top 8, top 16 and top 8. Guys, take a look at this red and black brew and share your thoughts here. What do you think about this build?
Oh, I'll take a stab. I am trying to look at the enchant world that he has next to the Poltergeist and the Eternal Flame on his second row. And I think that is like, let's see, all players can attack with no more than 2 creatures.
Caverns of Despair.
Caverns of Despair. Well, that's an interesting card. What do you guys think about that card?
Yeah, we don't see Caverns of Despair showing up much at all in any of the 4 Horsemen decks. All players may attack with no more than 2 creatures. You know, I almost kind of think he's got this in his deck just to destroy other enchant worlds. But he also has Gravity Sphere over there on the right. Do you see that?
Yep.
He's got a Gravity Sphere. He's got a Caverns of Despair. I think he's got those in there in case he runs into the Abyss, or he runs into Living Plane, or he runs into something like in blue, you've got Field of Dreams. There are other red enchant worlds, though. There's Land's Edge, and there's also the Storm World that is 1 red, and it operates kind of like the rack for all players. So there are other enchant worlds, but in the Wild Wild West, it's very important to have answers for enchant worlds, and he's not running green, which Desert Twister is one of the only cards that can destroy, any enchantment, any permanent. So I think it's really smart that William has included a couple of enchant worlds here, so that if he runs into the Abyss or he runs into some of these other anticipated enchant worlds, he can deal with them quite easily.
Yeah, I love the equipment he's got. He's got the Antiquities in the bottom right corner, Tanos weaponry, and Ashnod's, looks like Ashnod's battle gear.
Ashnod's battle gear, yeah. Not Transmogrant, the battle gear.
So that's cool because, he's not playing, he's playing a lot of, I see Landwalk, like the Yeti and the Goblins of the Fog. He's got Landwalk with Mountain Walk. With those,
right.
And then he has the Beasts of Bogarden. But these creatures that are, can have protection from red or unblockability, you can make them bigger, or just like a Ruck Egg, for example, a 0-powered creature. You put it on a Ruck Egg and they got to block that guy and kill your eggs. So that's pretty cool to have equipment.
Yeah. And he is running 3 main deck Blood Moon right there in the middle of the deck photo. Blood Moon is a key answer to a lot of problematic lands. Strip Mines, Maze of Ith, Library of Alexandria, Diamond Valley, Deserts, Mishra's Factory, Mishra's Workshop, Dual Lands, you name it. There are so many utility lands in 4 Horsemen, and with Blood Moon, they're all just mountains.
Yeah, it's pretty good main deck in Wild West. With people playing 4 of this, and like Travis said, they got you get to play the library, so the Blood Moon's a good answer for the library.
Yeah, he's also got the Zionic Poltergeist. 2 black and 1. And what does this card do? Tap to turn target non-creature artifact into an artifact creature with both power and toughness equal to its casting cost. This transformation lasts until the end of your next upkeep. Target retains all its original abilities as well. What do you think about that card? I mean, you don't hardly ever see Psionic Poltergeist in any deck, but here it is in Four Horsemen.
Travis, do you want to tackle that one? Any thoughts, or do you pass? Or
I'm not super familiar with that card, to be honest.
I'm thinking, well, it's like your animate artifact. He makes any artifact a creature. It's power test. So if it's one casting cost, say an ivory tower, it's that he can tap the poltergeist. The ivory tower becomes a 1/1 creature, artifact creature until end of turn. So with cards like Chain Lightning and even Immolation, he can just, that's 6 cards that could just kill an ivory tower.
Yeah.
That's pretty important, I think, for a red aggro burn deck to be able to kill life gain artifacts.
Yeah.
Or about Fountain of Youth. That's the card we've seen in Four Horsemen, right? For life gain, and just tapping, now the fountain is dead. So.
Yeah, that's right. And also up in the upper right, he's got Gate to Phyrexia as well. So if he runs into additional problems between the Gate to Phyrexia, the Psionic Poltergeist, he's got ways to kill artifacts. And it's interesting, he's got Immolation up there by Aladdin. He can actually steal a artifact with Aladdin, but he's got an Immolation up there and then 2 more in the middle. I'm not sure why he laid it out that way.
I'm trying to figure out which cards are the sideboard cards. Anybody have an idea? Because I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like, he's got the active volcanoes over there on the upper left, 4 of those. It's very hard to tell what his sideboard is or isn't in this deck photo.
Well, you would have to have William comment on that or something.
Yeah. I'm also wondering where, okay, he's got, what is that, 9 mountains here and 5 swamps and 4 badlands. Is that right?
Yeah, Strip Mine, Diamond Valley, and Maze.
Yeah, so what's his total land count here? 9 and 5, that's 14 and 4. So he's got 18. Does he have 4 strip mines?
I don't know if it's 4, but he has dice on everything that's more than 1, it looks like. So I'm assuming it's 1 city and 1 strip mine. So just 20 mana producing, and then the Diamond Valley and Maze.
Yeah.
23 mana.
You know, one of the things I had encouraged the players to do is to lay your decks out in a wide format. And I don't like the putting dice on cards layout. It makes it very, very hard when we're doing the deck reviews to see all the cards. And there's way better ways to lay your deck out than this that would make it easier to commentate on. But there are a lot of interesting and unique and different things going on with Williams' another red-black deck here. I also like the fact that he's running Rook Eggs, and he's running things like Bloodlust and Chain Lightnings and Immolations. I really like that synergy. Plus, he's got Mountain Walking with the Goblins of the Flarg, the Mountain Yetis. Also, don't forget, he's got Juzum Djinns down there. You know, the Juzums can come out on turn 4, and they are heavy hitters. But in Wild Wild West, you've got to think about the fact that there could be 4 Maze of Ith that you're staring down. So running things like Juzum Djinns and Serendib Ifrits is very risky.
Yeah, 4 Bloodlust makes Wall of Spears a little more attractive. All of a sudden, that Wall of Spears for a red and 1 becomes a 6-powered first striker, pretty much killing anything.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
So I think I figured it out, guys. So Travis, Chad, I think that the first 2 rows are actually William's sideboard. I counted 15 cards. Yeah, like the Poltergeist, the Chant Worlds, the Eternal Flame, the
yes. Okay, I see it now. You're right. The first 2 rows are the sideboard, and everything else is the main deck.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense because we're over. Yeah, so the Gravity Sphere, the Caverns of Despair. If he runs into a deck with enchant worlds, those can help out. He's got an extra Immolation. He can steal some artifacts with Aladdin or destroy some artifacts with Gates of Phyrexia if he runs an artifact deck, along with the Zonic Poltergeist. So yes, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I think it's a fun-looking deck. The only card that's really puzzling to me is that battering ram, but I love to see it.
Yeah, pretty spicy. All right, guys, I think we're ready to get into the match. I'm gonna jump over, and I'm gonna share the match with you guys, so you can follow along with me here. Where are we here? Boom. All right. I think we're ready. Can you guys see the game queued up here? You want to go do your full screen so that it shows clearly for you guys.
Okay. Yeah, we're good.
All right. And
Good.
let me make sure my sharing here is also lined up well. One second here.
You guys still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just trying to line up the match videos so that it looks good on the stream here. All right, I think we're ready to go now. All right, so we're going to be playing this back at 1.5 speed. And here we go. Okay, so we've got William on the left and Alex is on the right.
Looks like Alex is. You said they're both Canadian, right? Looks like Alex might be from near Quebec.
Yeah, he's got that Quebec moat playmat. Very, very cool. Very distinctive. You always know when Alex is playing because he's always sporting that mat.
Mm-hmm. I want to say William was from Vancouver area. Looks like he's got the Marvel playmat.
Yeah, I've never seen that mat before.
No, it's kind of interesting. Deck building game.
Yeah, I think there was an old school Quebec event where who painted moat? I can't remember the artist, but the artist showed up and did this special mat for them for that event.
Oh, on the right, yeah, I could see that. That does kind of resemble a moat.
Yeah, it's a special like version of the moat where like the castle's much bigger, and they made a special playmat for that event. Okay, so is Alex is on the play here, starting off with the City of Brass, and William drops a mountain and goblins on the floor.
Okay. Looks like Alex had the mulligan. It's a 6, but he's got a maze. But I believe that was a singleton in his deck. He has one maze.
Yeah, that's right. And that's a pretty good card for him to have early because it'll allow him to get set up. William starting off here with just a couple of goblins, but Diamond Valley for your second land drop, not ideal. That means he does not have a second mana producing land in his hand, so he's off to a very slow start here. Alex getting double City of Brass. Ouch, taking damage for every land he taps. That is not ideal.
Yeah, I think William was playing 20 lands. Okay, he top decked the swamp, but he's got a very low mana count. But to his benefit here, I want to say Alex only had, was it one strip mine that we saw, guys?
Yeah, he only had one strip. That's right. So, not a great mana base for Alex to start off, but he is running 4 City of Brass along with his other mana. So this is one of the risks of City of Brass. If you happen to get a couple of them early, they can really do a lot of damage to you very quickly. Oh my goodness, a third Goblins of the Flarg.
I'm the kind of guy that with City of Brass, I don't like to play 4 of unless I'm playing 2 different types of decks. It either A, has to be an extremely aggressive deck where I don't care about taking the damage because I'm dealing more damage to my opponent, or B, I'm playing a combo type of deck that's gonna just go off and win, like say Eureka.
Right. Which is what Alex is working on here. Now, Tetsuo Umezawa comes down. Tetsuo is a 3/3, so that's not a bad card to have early here. Not to mention that nice looking library that you dropped.
I have never owned a Tetsuo. I may have owned an Italian one, but I never owned him in the original Legends.
Oh, Chain Lightning coming down to take out Tetsuo. That is rough. Goblins getting in, just plinking away here. Alex down to 14. Chain Lightning, number 2. Man. And he's able to get that mana with the Fell War, so he's been able to avoid tapping those cities. I'd like to see a dice for hand count for both of these players. I don't know what Alex's hand count is here. He's got that library, which is looking pretty good if he can get back up to 7. Now, what has William dropped there? That's the Tawnos Weaponry?
I want to say that card is +1/+1 for 2 mana, and you can use it at any time, even
right.
if it's fast effect instant.
The Maze of Ith now doing the work, holding back William's goblins. Alex doesn't have any mountains, so no mountain walking, but man, William really needs some mana here.
Yep.
Okay, there he goes. Double black, 2 swamps and a mountain, but no creatures coming down. Both these guys are off to a pretty slow start.
William has a lot of cards. I wonder if he's holding cards like Bloodlust and things to pump his creature, and he can't use it because of that maze right now.
Well, there's the battering ram. What is that? A 1/1 bander for 2?
Travis, do you know what battering? I can't remember what battering ram. I think I have one sitting around.
I think it's a 1/1 banding for 2 that's from Antiquities that was reprinted in Chronicles or something like that. Man, this Maze of Ith is really saving Alex here. Can you imagine if he didn't have this Maze of Ith? He'd probably have taken about 5 or 6 additional damage from those goblins before he could have taken them out with the chains. So it's really helped him out, even though it's a 1-of in his deck. Finally, he gets a forest, a non-damaged, non-City of Brassland.
Okay, here's Battering Ram. 2 mana, 1/1 creature, bans, but only when attacking. So it can't ban as a blocker, just an attacker.
It's a 1/1 or a 2/1?
1/1 for 2. Any wall blocking Battering Ram is destroyed. Walls destroyed this way deal their damage before dying.
Not a lot of walls showing up in 4 Horsemen. Yeah, I'm kind of baffled as to why William is even running that card.
It's just fun, I guess. He wants to be able to band it with his creatures. Maybe he's looking at it as like a Suedo equipment type of ability to make any creature get +1/+1.
Seems like maybe you should be running that with ATOG or something. Sylvan Library coming down for Alex here.
That's probably going to change the game a lot.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, Tim, you are hip to the power of Sylvan Library for sure.
I mean, Alex is on, what is the life count? Is that 13? Oh, Mana Drain Roke. Ooh. 11. Okay.
Wow.
He could still possibly draw an extra card from Sylvan and be at 7, and he's not really in a threat of taking a ton of damage.
But he's at like 8 or 9 life there. There's a glare on his dice. It's hard to see what his actual life is, but yeah, he's getting pretty low here. He's going to have 4 mana from that Mana Drain. He's going to dig with Sylvan. Can he get something? What could he get to
Eureka?
He could get the Eureka, yeah. He needs...
Or a 6-drop.
Okay, so he's using 3 of the 4 to play an Urnum. So he's got 1 mana floating. Is he going to mana burn? Interesting. That means he does not have Eureka. He should definitely take a mana burn there. It looks like he did not correctly take a mana burn. I didn't see him move his dice down.
No, they probably both forgot.
And there's all kinds of dice over here on the right on Alex's board. I don't know what's going on with all these different dice. Okay, so he's down to 8. Mana drain number 2. He needs to be taking 2 damage for that.
He just went from 10 to 8, I believe.
Okay, he went from 10 to 8. Okay, because he's tapping 2 City of Brass to mana drain a oubliette. The oubliette was going to take out that Urnum Gen, so that's a tough one, right? You're taking 2 damage, but you got to do it. He had the Maze of Ith in play though. Oh, would you have done that, Tim? I don't know. Like, he's got the maze to hold the.
I think, I don't know what he's got in his hand. If he's got something that costs 6, that 3 colorless from the oubliette could be important, so he doesn't take damage from the City of Brass to cast.
He also has to give that goblin mountain walk now, but he's got the maze to hold him back. Surely,
I like the idea of keeping that Urnum in play, because that Urnum could win him the game in like 4 or 5 turns.
Yeah, Urnum is so strong. But is he going to attack with him here? Surely he is, right?
Should. He's got a maze for defense.
Urnum number 2. That's from the mana drain from the oubliette. And hitting in for 4.
William needs a Juzam.
Yeah, William needs Juzam for sure. But, man, I mean, this game's starting to turn around here. It was looking pretty rough for Alex, but he's stabilizing now.
He's at 8. He's taking a lot of city pain.
That city damage is really hurting him.
7.
Urnum number 3. Wow.
Whoa. Okay. William needs main deck City in a Bottle.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not looking good for William now, for sure.
Yeah, William's not playing cards like Moat or the Abyss since he's playing. I mean, he's a Fissure.
Fissure, though.
What?
Oh, he took out the maze and not the Urnum?
He's going for the throat. Wow, what do you think about that, Travis? Is that ballsy or what?
I mean, he's going for it.
What is William's life? Is William at 20 here?
He's probably holding 2 Bloodlusts in his grip.
Oh.
That's my predict. I've been saying that for like multiple turns because William has had a lot of cards and he hasn't played a lot.
So he's just sitting on Bloodlust trying to mountain walk. He can mountain walk with that Taiga in play.
Oh man, this is exciting. He's gonna get there with that one mountain walk.
Falling Star. Oh no. Oh,
Dexterity flip.
That takes out the goblin. Wow. So there goes William's double Bloodlust plan down the tubes. He's probably so mad right now.
Do you guys see how calm Alexander just held that falling star and just flipped it right on it like it was nothing?
Like it was
a
nothing.
great flip.
It's so casual. He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna flip this shit, and you're gonna.
And that thing rotated like 3 times over, but just like.
Here comes the big juicy Juzum. A little late though.
Well, at least he has a Diamond Valley. I mean,
Yeah, he can block an Urnum, and what's going on here?
He passed the turn.
I wish I could see William's life count total. Where are his dice?
I don't know.
I have no freaking clue what his life total is. This is crazy. Guys, put your dice counter. We need to know what your life is. We need to know what your hand count is. Come on, fellas. Get with the program.
Maybe Alex is keeping it over there at the side, but he has the glare, so maybe he has it from both. He's got the little baby dice. Travis got some cool big dice, some big old school dice. I liked it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
This triple Urnum scenario is not looking good for William, though.
No, I mean, I'm going to say that if he swung for 12, if Alex swung in for 12 last turn, that William might have gained a few life from the Diamond Valley, but he's got to be at least like 10.
Yeah. All right, here we go. 4, 4, and 4 coming at
The
you.
question is can he afford to take 2 hits from the Urnum?
Okay, so he's going to activate that Tawnos Weaponry, make that Urnum a 6/6, block 1, take 8, and then he's going to gain 6 life after damage. So he had to sack to Juzum right then and there just to survive that attack. Only taking down one Urnum, and now Thomas Coffin coming out.
It looks like Alex put out a 5 and a 1 after the combat damage. So I want to say that William is at 6, so he would have been at 0 if he didn't eat that.
Right.
With
Okay, what's he doing here? He's got a City of Brass. He's got 3 lands in the middle, 4 lands. He plays a Badlands. Jusum number 2. Okay, that might hold him. That might save him for 1 turn, but this Tawnos Coffin that Alex played is going to be a big problem. He can still gain 5, but he's going to take 8.
Those Jusums just came a little too late, I think.
For Tawnos weaponry, does that only taps and doesn't sack? Because it's still in play.
It's just tap.
Oh, interesting. Okay, Chain Lightning coming out. Interesting, Alex did not bounce it back. Just taking the damage to the chin. What is Alex's life total? 6 or 7?
How did one of those Urnums die?
Well, from the Jusum block last turn. The Jusum was 6/6. All right, so here we go again. He's going to block. He tries to put the Jusum in the coffin. He makes it a 6/6, Diamond Valleys, but looks like that's game.
Is he scooping? It should be. He's at 6, so he gains 6, goes to 12, and takes 8.
But he takes 8, and there's a Chain Lightning, so he's at 1.
1? At 1.
And that's probably game. There it is. Man, I mean, William, gosh, he like started off so slow, but Alex had all those City of Brass also hurting him. All right, let me pause the video here. We're going to switch back over to the deck photos, okay, guys? And let me share the deck photos with you guys. Boom, here we go. Okay, so let's talk about sideboarding, all right? Let's start with William's deck. What is William going to sideboard in and sideboard out?
Travis, anything look good to you on those top 2 rows against some Urnum Gens?
Probably the Oubliette and yeah, the Oubliette.
Well,
that's all I'm seeing too.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have much, right? He doesn't have Ashes to Ashes. I'm like wondering, William, you're playing red-black, my friend. Where are your Ashes to Ashes? Where is your Abyss?
Maybe he's going to bring in that enchant world that says no more than 2 creatures may attack because he thinks I can block his stuff with a couple guys, and I just don't want him to have too many threats down. I don't know. Maybe he'll bring in the Caverns of Despair or, yeah, but definitely those 2 Oubliettes with him.
I mean, William's got proxies in his deck here. Okay, so he's not. Some of our players don't like to play proxies, and we respect that. But clearly, William's got proxies. So I'm like wondering where are the heavy hitting cards? Like, why do you think William is not running Ashes to Ashes?
He only has a little bit of life gain in the 1 Diamond Valley. I don't see any other life gain, so maybe he thinks...
Diamond Valley's unrestricted in Wild Wild West, so
he could have played Ashes with another Diamond Valley.
He could have played more Diamond Valleys since he's running 4 Rook Eggs.
And Jusums are big too.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a lot of big creatures, and he makes them bigger with his equipment. So,
right.
Yeah.
But also, if you're running black, it's very tempting to run the Abyss, and he's not running any artifact creatures, so he's not, except for that 1 battering ram, which is a mystery to me. But instead running Cavern of Despair and Gravity Sphere. I'm kind of perplexed by that.
Well, it is what it is. I think it's like Travis said, the 2 Oubliettes are probably his best choice, and I mean, he could bring us Caverns, especially if he thinks his opponent has. I don't know if he didn't see the Living Plane or Concordant Crossroads that game though. But
yeah, I mean, I'm starting to think that William's whole strategy is basically Goblins of the Fog and Bloodlust. Or am I crazy here?
Or Rook Egg Jusum. He can kill.
Or Rook Egg Jusum, yeah.
Yeah. I think he should board out the Immolation since he didn't see any little low toughness creatures. What is it? -2.
Yeah, +2, -2. Yeah, it effectively can take out any small creature except for Curdape.
I think those come out for the oubliettes.
Yeah. I would have really liked to see Ashes to Ashes in this brew, but we don't have it. Yeah, so I think you're right. He just sideboards out Immolations, sideboard in oubliette. This Battering Ram, I don't think is doing anything for him. Wall of Spears, it's only good if you have Bloodlust. The Taunos Weaponry, I don't think it's helping him. Ashnod's Battle Gear, I don't know. There's so many cards here that I just don't understand what they're doing in the deck.
It effectively makes all his little goblins bigger, like 2 toughness or 3 toughness creatures.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's take a look at Alex's deck. What is Alex going to sideboard in and out here?
So I meant 2 power, by the way, not 2 toughness. Travis called that one really good, but the oubliettes. What do you think? What do you think here, Travis?
I mean, that Sword of the Ages is kind of fun.
Why not put it in, right? I would throw that thing in there. It's like, hey, you're playing equipment. I've got a bigger equipment, kind of. I've got a sword. You've got a battle gear. Let's see who wins this fight.
Well, the one card I don't think Alex needs right now, given this matchup, I don't think he really needs that Book of Ross. It's going to cost him life, and he doesn't have any life gain. So he could definitely sideboard out that book and maybe throw that sword in.
Yeah, he could do that. I think Flash Flood is just, I think he's going to say, oh, you're playing little red guys and lots of red cards. I think the 3 Flash Flood should come in. I'm not sure what he would pull out.
Well, he can definitely pull out the 2 Concordant Crossroads. He doesn't need those. Although they could be beneficial under a Eureka scenario. Maybe actually what he does here is maybe he pulls out the 2 Living Plane and puts in 2 Flash Flood.
Yeah, he's going to pull out probably at least a couple of those Enchant Worlds, and he could probably cut the Book of Ross.
Yeah. So you can pull out Book of Ross and Living Plane, put in Sword of the Ages and 2 Flash Floods, and call it a day.
That would work.
Okay, let's get back to the match.
I wonder if he'll go Drop of Honey, though, against all those little guys, but I don't know. Maybe not.
All right. Got this reshared for us.
Actually, I don't think he'll bring Drop of Honey, guys, because he saw Rook Egg.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's not going to want the Drop of Honey with the Rook Egg, right?
Whoa, which game are we in? Oh, you're fast forwarding it back to
I was trying to get to the game 1.
I think it's about 30 minutes in, probably. No,
here we go. They're sideboarding here, shuffling up.
At least William is doing some spicy things over there. He's doing some sneaky, spicy things. He's got some. He's like, I want to win playing cards. I'm playing the Wall of Spears and the Battering Ram, and I'm trying to make them good. I want to make these non-play cards great again.
Right. I get it. All right, so here we go. William's got a much better start this turn, but Alex has a fantastic start with his first turn library. William gets land but no early Mountain Walkers, and Alex is going to be drawing off that library. That's going to put Alex in a command and control position.
So at this point, William needs a strip mine or hope that Alex just dumps his hand out in a couple turns and turns off his own Loa. Oh, strip mine him.
Alex gets the strip mine, taking out the mountain. Ouch. That is not looking good for William.
Yeah, considering William has 20 lands in his deck, Alex can just drawing 2 cards a turn. He could draw. Oh, does he only have 1 strip mine?
Yeah, Alex only had that one strip. That's right. Double
That's
mount
a very interesting play.
and double swamp for William, keeping him off red is really smart, using that strip to do it.
Discarding Eureka, so maybe he has more Eurekas in his hand? What do you think?
Well, he's drawing off the library and digging, so, yeah, he's got 4 Eurekas in there. He probably has another Eureka or 2 in his hand for sure. City Brass. He'll be in a position to play Eureka next turn. Meanwhile, William gets his mountain walking goblins in the Flarg. Alex does have the volcanic island, so can mountain walk him there.
Boom.
Juice him.
Oh.
Juice him coming down turn 4, but Alex has the unrestricted Wild Wild West 4 of mana drain.
Alex forgot to lower, though. Get their card.
And he also needs to take damage for that. Tapping of the city. So he draws a library on his draw step, and Maze of Ith coming out. Looking tough for William here. Not looking very good, right? I mean, he's staring down a library in a maze.
Yeah, that's tough.
And the mana drain mana powers out a turn 4 Urnimgen for Alex. At least William's getting mana here. He's got 5 mana. Oubliette. That's a good one. Taking out and exiling that Urnimgen.
We all are on the same page with that one. He knew he would probably bring in that Oubliette. So he's back up to 7. He can lower again, play something else. I think he's already drawn like 3 or 4 extra cards.
Yeah, he's got such a massive card advantage here with that library. And I didn't even see a library in Williams' deck.
I don't know. Did he have it?
Look back at the deck photo, Tim. I don't think he had a library in there.
I think you're right. Let's see. William?
I don't see one in there.
He does not have it in the photo, no.
Tetsuo Umezawa getting discarded by Alex here. So Alex is just not getting mana and discarding a lot of cards. Using that strip mine early, keeping him off of 3 mana because he's tapping the library to draw, and the maze doesn't tap for mana. But pretty good defense.
He's got that one maze every game.
Yeah, it's really got to be frustrating for William here. That one of Maze of Ith keeping William at bay. Chain Lightning on goblins, taking the goblins down. Beast of Borgadon here. Wow.
Ooh, can't Chain Lightning that.
You can't Chain Lightning that one. But that Maze of Ith is sitting out there. He needs Blood Moon real bad.
I feel like Beast is underplayed in Full Horsemen. It's remind me, it's pro red and something. Do you guys remember something?
It's a 3/3 pro red, and if they have white, it's a 4/4, I think. Oh my gosh! Look at this Flash Flood just coming in, boom, taking out the beasts.
That's
Ouch.
strong.
That is strong. Flash Flood is so strong, and taking the damage, tapping the city for green, and Sylvan Library coming down.
Does that mean he's out of lower range though?
No, he'll be able to draw cards and get back to lower range.
Okay.
All right, William. Blood Moon. Yes! There we go.
Ooh,
Alex was
the
tapped
Flash
out.
Flood.
Alex was tapped out, and all of his lands are now mountains. He will not be able to Flash Flood until he gets a basic island. That is what William needed. That could turn this game around right there.
That was huge. It even turns off the Loa, almost more importantly.
Turns off everything. All of Alex's lands are non-basics, and this is what we were talking about in the deck reviews, right? Alex's big weakness is Blood Moon, and here his vulnerability is being exposed.
He almost could have just held that Flash Flood, knowing he had the maze. It's like, you can keep your Beasts of Bogarden. I would have held the Flash Flood and then maybe only played it if you needed to, because Blood Moon is the bigger threat.
That is a very smart observation there, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and look at this Mountain Yeti coming down.
Like, it's easy for me to say that now, but notice, guys, that I did not say that until after the Blood Moon.
Well, but looky here. Alex has an answer. He's got Tawnos Coffin. He's not out of the game yet. Like, all of his lands are non-basics here, but the Coffin can exile one of the creatures that William plays, and he got rid of the beasts. Mountain Yeti coming in, but Tawnos Coffin can take it out.
I mean, Alex can still cast Triskelion and stuff like that. So.
Oh, look at this Falling Star. Falling Star on the Mountain Yeti. Oh, and a miss! Oh, a miss by Alex. Oh,
and Alex did that perfect flip game 1. Remember?
He did. So
that
casual, but he completely whiffed here.
I bet you he's flustered because of that Blood Moon.
Yeah. Yeah.
I bet you it's messing with him. Yeah, that's just like
Mountain,
gotta be in his head.
Mountain Yeti number 2 coming down. That is huge for William.
But here's the other thing. I would have just held the Falling Star right there. It's like, you've got a Coffin for that Yeti. It's like, who cares about it? Make him play another creature. Once he plays out 2 targets, then flip the star.
Yeah, you're right, Tim. Chain Lightning for the Yeti, but he's got the... Doesn't he have he's tapped. He needs 2 mana to activate his Tawnos Weaponry to pump it.
Yep.
That's what that Tawnos Weaponry is in there for. It's to give the pump on the Mountain Walkers.
Yeah, those 3/3. He's got beasts and Yetis that are 3 toughness.
Yeah. Wow. This is turning out to be a much more exciting match than game 1. Diamond Valley coming down, but it's a mountain. Still, all of Alex's lands are non-basics, and there is Triskelion. Boom, coming in. That's what you're talking about there, Tim.
Yeah. Well, it's better to do that and take the 3 than have him untap Coffin with that Triskelion.
Yeah, the Oubliette is a fantastic answer for Triskelion there.
So did he flip it upside down and remove the card from the game, or did he kill itself for the graveyard recursion?
He should have. Well, depending.
I don't know if he has recursion. I don't guess he does.
Yeah, I think he just let it be exiled and did the 3 damage.
Okay.
But the Coffin is tapped there.
So Alex has no Desert Twister or he didn't have any removal for enchantments.
No.
Okay. I feel like if William could just get down like a couple big guys 2 turns in a row, he could just win this game. He just needs like 1 more creature. Like that. Because now he might untap the Coffin to put Juzum in there. Yep. So he untaps Coffin, gives him back the Yeti. What do you think he's going to Coffin, Travis? You think he's going to take the wait until he uses equipment, or?
Yeah, maybe that Juzum.
Yeah, I don't know if letting your opponent take the 1 damage from the Juzum is worth you taking 2 more damage than that Yeti. So I'm with you. He's probably going to put the Juzum in there. That's what I would do. Or maybe you just wait and hope that William uses some of his artifact equipment on the Juzum.
Ooh, Detonate coming out here. What's he targeting? The Battle Gear or the... What's the other one?
I think he's going to target the +2/-2, the bigger one. Yeah, Battle Gear. I just like the idea. Even I keep saying equipment. I know these aren't equipment, but they're like Wizards R&D's early versions of equipment.
Right.
It's like, let's just have these artifacts that can just stay on the board and make all of your creatures a little bigger.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to put some armor on this guy. We're going to give a sword or, equipment to this guy.
Yeah, it was definitely early thinking around equipment.
I've been wanting to build and brew more around those cards. I'm surprised more people don't ever play them.
Well, the Tawnos coffin here is just the powerhouse, right? It's completely saving Alex here.
I mean, it is like basically your best creature is just gone.
Right.
And that can change. Like, oh, you play a better creature? Well, then that one's gone.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of like Maze of Ith, but costs 3. But it can also be used on your own stuff to reuse their come into play abilities.
Especially with Triskelion being such a powerhouse in the format. It's offense and defense. If you got Triskelion, it ends up like making the game.
Yeah. So this is actually looking really good for William, though. Like, who cares about the one? You know, the maze is turned off. The low is turned off.
Yeah, and he's got one of his creatures is exiled with a coffin, but meanwhile, you know, the Yeti and the Goblin are mountain walking over here. Oh, looky here, Alex is turning in the towel here. He only had that one island that he peeled off the top there. So William Linth cinches game number 2 here, thanks to Blood Moon. And it's interesting that in our pregame we were talking about the fact that Alex is so heavy into non-basics that Blood Moon could be his Achilles heel, and we saw that play out here.
Yeah, and you know, I think that was a surprise for Alex because there's no open deck list yet, so we don't ever know. And he hadn't seen a Blood Moon yet, I don't think, in game 1 and then he plays out the Flash Flood.
Yeah, but as soon as you see a Goblins of the Flarg, you have to know your opponent's playing red, he's playing Goblins of the Flarg. You just have to know that Blood Moon is going to be showing up, right?
And Mountain Yeti. You're like, oh, here's all these mountain walking creatures. I don't know, you might, but sometimes people are just like, kill that. Like, no. Ooh, here's a threat. Let me get rid of that.
I think you're right, Tim. Your observations in game number 2 there, where you're like, hey, I would have held on to that Flash Flood because it just took out the Beast of Bogarden, but in the next turn you got slapped with Blood Moon and cost you the game. He could have held on to that, and he could have played Flash Flood in response.
Right, it's an instant. If he strips his maze, if he fissures the maze, you've got the maze. Like you just chill right there.
Yeah, he's got the maze of it.
You've got the answer to what your opponent is trying to
precisely
do to you. You're fine. Like you're totally fine, and you need to see if there's anything worse that comes your way.
That's right.
I'll look at it.
Now, I don't think either of these guys look like they're changing their sideboards. You know, there's not a lot for them to sideboard against each other, but I think you really hit the nail on the head there, Tim. And this is the subtle art and science of piloting your deck. There are all these decisions in each and every game, in each and every match. And like the match that you and I played, Tim, where I took so long to try to figure out a way out of the scenario. I took my time, I Jaloom-tomed here and there, and I found a way out of the situation. Basically with Mirror Universe in that particular game that you and I played. There are always ways to play superior and optimal maneuvers, but it takes a lot of contemplation to figure it out.
You played that masterfully, Chad. It was something in combination with Crumble and Mirror Universe, and you switching the life and gaining the life, and I couldn't do enough damage, and you gave me the really low life total, and that was a nice thought out play. Run a cards.
Well, it wasn't enough to save me in the match overall, but the point here is that there were better ways for Alex to play his hand, right?
And you know, when you're in the heat of the battle and you're on these it's weird for me. I don't know if you've experienced this, Travis, but in a camera game, it's almost like when I first started playing these camera games, it was like I would do something almost impulsively and then look back and think, oh, did I just do that? And it's like somehow the camera is playing tricks on me.
It's messing with your mind, right?
Exactly.
It's the fact that you're on the stage. You're like, oh my, you know this video is going to be on YouTube, and there's only a couple of hundred, old schoolers watching it, and it's not that big of a deal.
It's weird, but I think once you get used to, like, once you forget that the camera's even there, you have to not be mindful.
You got to focus on the game,
but be mindful of what is important. So you tend to focus on and concentrate on the things important and forget about the things you don't need to think about.
That's right.
But it does mess with you at first on these cam games. I've only been doing it a couple of years, and at first it was a strange, almost like a euphoric type of a feeling that you get, when you don't when you don't put the camera out of your mind or something.
Yeah, it messes with your mental focus is really what it is.
Yeah, especially if you're sitting there looking at yourself, your hands and your cards playing on your computer screen while you're trying. It's like, just don't look at that, because it'll just distract you from what you're actually doing.
That's right. All right, so back to the action here. William starts off pretty strong with the first turn turn 1 Mountain Walker, and Alex has got that active volcano down there. Both these guys are hitting their land drops here. Alex does have a basic forest, which may be important. Oh my goodness!
Oh, nope. He's like, nope. I got the blue. I'll float the blue.
Oh, there's the flash flood. Oh,
he's this time.
Oof, he's got it. He's got it, man. That was a risk that William had to take, right? He's like, it's turn 3. I think I got him. If he doesn't have a flash flood, I got it.
I guess you jam it out, because he could play the Eureka this game. Or this turn, yeah. Or the Urnham. Nice,
or the Urnham. Yeah. Oof. Turn 4 Urnham, Jan. 4-5.
Back to that whole holding the flash flood thing, like Alex could have done game 2.
Mm-hmm.
There are some scenarios in this format, I'd say, where you don't want to hold the flash flood, and that is if your opponent's playing blue, and they could have flash counter, they could have mana drain. For that, if they untap with blue mana, or if they're playing green, and they could have a card like Avoid Fate, right? Things that could counter your flash flood. But against the red-black, I don't think there's really any fast effect or instant that could stop a flash
That's
flood.
right. Yeah, that's really insightful observations there. He's got no reason to have pause or hesitation, and he's very fortunate he had that, because it would turn all of his lands to mountains. But he does have that one forest, allowing him to power out the Urnham, and Urnham number 2 coming down.
But he's got the bigger dog, the Jusum. He just needs to be able to cast it. He needs the mana.
Now, William's got a Mazavith coming down here. That could help William quite a bit. I don't know why William's attacking here. I mean, he's going to take so much damage from these Urnhams. I feel like he should just block. Unless he had a Bloodlust. What's the point of attacking there?
I just think he's not ready to chump yet, because he's at 20 and he's on the 16.
Well, he's going to need a Bloodlust and a Chain Lightning and a Pyrotechnics and all that to really make it work here. Felwar Stone coming down for Alex. And Urnham number 3. Oh my gosh, 3 Urnhams?
Man, that's brutal.
So William needs to go land Jusum, and I feel like that 20 land is just haunting him. I feel like if your deck ends at 3 casting costs, the old Cylex would run 18 or 20 lands. But once you get it to the 4-drop, 5-drop, and you have to cast things that cost 4 or 5 mana, I feel like you've got to play 22, 23 lands. Mana producing lands.
My mana count on most regular Horsemen decks is 27 lands. But this is Wild Wild West. You got to factor in the strip mines.
Strip mines.
You have 4 strip mines. They have 4 strip mines. That's potentially -8 lands between the two of you. So, 29, 28 lands is not unheard of. But these guys, William was running an unbelievably thin amount of mana. Okay, Urnham number. So he was able to block with 1 and Chain Lightning to take out 1 Urnham. Tano's Coffin. This is a one of no. Alex has 2 of these. This Tano's Coffin has been absolutely pivotal in every match, and he's hit it every game.
Oh, William is, and William, I see the problem now. William has not gotten to double black mana.
Yeah, he's got no oubliette possible. And here's what I was talking about. Ashes to Ashes is so important in any black deck.
Yeah.
He could just exile these two Ernems and pay 5 life and they're gone, right? But he's not running that card, and it's such a strong black card.
Looks like he has. Does he have oubliette? Does he have Jusum? Does he have any Jusum? See, it's like you said, Chad. I would have almost been blocking if he had Jusum and he knows he needs to get that down to block the Ernem. I don't know. Maybe he should have been blocking to save a little life. Oh wow. Oh, is he scooping to that?
Looks like it.
What?
Oh well, Nicol Bolas coming down here. Wait a minute, where's this?
Eureka, Nicol Bolas.
Wait.
He's like scoop.
What?
You played a dragon.
Wait, what is this Nicol Bolas? I don't remember seeing that in Alex's deck list.
What? Why did he scoop to that? Couldn't he have like mazed that and still blocked the Ernems, or what's going on?
I don't know what's going on here, but I'm also wondering, where did that Nicol Bolas come from? There's no Nicol Bolas in Alex's deck list.
Oh no! Did he not put it in the photo?
I do not see Nicol Bolas anywhere in this deck list. Where did that card come from?
I'm looking in the site. I don't know. I don't see it. Yeah. He must have just. We'll have to ask him about the photo. Maybe he added it and he took the wrong picture or something. But yeah, I don't see it in the photo. Unless that Umezawa is a. No, he had Umezawa game 1.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the photo. I don't see it either. But oh well. He changed it up obviously and put it in later. Huh. So he scooped to Nicol Bolas, and that wasn't even supposed to be in the deck.
Alex, we're gonna have to have a talk with you, buddy. Where did this Nicol Bolas come from, my friend?
That would have been awesome if it was in the photo. I was probably just an editing mistake on his part, but Nicol Bolas fits. It definitely fits.
Well, yeah, it does fit, but it's not in his deck. Here's his deck photo right here, and it's not there.
What do you think, Travis?
Yeah, I have to agree. I don't see it in the deck photo. It must have been an afterthought.
Maybe so.
Well,
maybe he messaged you about it and said he changed something.
There's 3 legends. There's the Solkanar, there's Tetsuo Umezawa, and then there's Gerard of the Closed Fist. But there's only 3 legends there. Did he mean to put the Nicol Bolas in that 4th slot there?
Maybe. I don't know. I'd ask him. Maybe he messaged you or tried to contact you and let you know if he tried to change that.
Ooh, Alex. This is a big no-no. we don't allow decks to be modified or changed, and we've had problems in the past with players doing this kind of stuff, and so that's a big problem. I'm gonna have to follow up with Alex on that.
Could he have modified it if he notified you before he played any of his games and said,
well, yes, yeah, that's what we've told all the players. Before you play any games, upload your photo into Teleria, and people can always send me their deck photos.
I remember one tournament I forgot to put it. This was normal BNR, normal ban and restricted for Horsemen, like a year. I forgot to put the one strip mine that's restricted, that everybody plays one strip. I forgot to put it in my photo. Yeah. And I was like, hey, I took out a swamp, and I messaged you before I played any games.
Right.
Put the strip mine in. Obviously, I want to play a strip mine. But,
So, William Lintz, another red-black deck, goes down in flames to Alec Veal's Eureka. And interesting to see these 4 Horsemen Wild West old school magic matches. And that does it for us for today's video for 4 Horsemen tournament number 21.
It's cool to see Eureka win with to pump out a Nicol Bolas for the win, because that's such a hard cast card, difficult card to cast, and to see it come down is cool. I really hope that we find out he has evidence that he was supposed to have that in his deck or something.
Me too.
That was pretty cool.
Me too.
And, yeah, but I'm still surprised to see William scoop like that prematurely. I don't know if he was at 2 or 4, but he's got a blocker for Ernem. He's got a maze for the Nicol. Maybe he just couldn't. I mean, he could block the Urnham with his goblins.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. This is a case for, hey, always play it out. Don't
Play it
scoop.
out, yeah.
Always play it out. You never know. You might be able to figure out. You might be able to draw a miracle oubliette and something. Always play it out.
I mean, I know dragons are intimidating. Shivens and whatever dragons we played against.
Especially dragons that aren't in your deck.
Yeah. They're intimidating, but play it out. Yeah. Hey, that was fun. Chad, Travis, it was fun to link up with you guys and watch some old school. And thanks for letting me come on.
Yeah. Thanks for joining me, Tim. Thanks for joining us, Travis.
Yeah,
And for our viewers out there, check us out at horsemenmagic.com. If you want to join in on this old school magic action, we thank you all for joining us today, and we will be signing off.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. See you next time.